Hey everybody, welcome to the next installment of How I Draw, Way of the Undead Fist. I'm Matt Filer, and let's get right into it. The episode 1 has been done. Thank you everybody for reading. This has been fantastic. Just to get this out there and really kind of show my own work, not only with drawing but writing as well. Thank you everybody for supporting it, and well, let's get into the tutorial. You can see right now I'm really just kind of outlining all of my pencils that I've drawn in red. This is kind of my normal thing that I'm doing with inking. I'm inking with I think it's a Strathmore or a Stradler. Basically, it's basically a micron. I like to use microns for the just for the outline work. They're a lot easier to use. They're disposable. You don't have to worry so much about trying to get a line. Really, you're just trying to put something down. This is my Pentel brush pen. I love this thing. This thing has changed the way I ink. You can see how all of a sudden I'm getting a lot more darker lines on this charging old man, and notice how I'm really kind of using it to block in some real nice shadows here, and I'm trying to keep the edges jagged. You have to remember when you're doing inks that you're creating shapes with the ink. The pools of black have to be interesting. I like to keep them. I like to keep my pools of black kind of jagged. It just looks a little bit more dynamic, especially when you have action shots. It's just so much more fun. And of course, here I'm whiting out some mistakes I made. A lot of times I'll wait till the end to bust out the whiteout, but sometimes there are times you gotta get it done ahead of time, where you just, whether it's you just want it to let it dry, or you really just want to fix something that's been staring you in the face. This pen I end up using for the majority of this project. I really enjoyed it. It really lets me go from a really nice thin line to really just like blocking in shadows and shapes, and it allows me to get a very, very nice transition. So you can go to thick to thin, really with a brush stroke, and it does take a little bit of time to get a handle on using a brush. And this it really is. I says brush pen. It just means it has a cartridge in it. But it really is a brush, and it has a really nice point on it. You can actually get these in different colors. They do a variety of different things. Since I just use it for inking, I just use the black one. But it's a really nice brush pen. It's a really nice brush. And it gets and the ink is very dark. If you guys are just getting started inking, one of the things you're going to find out is that not all inks are the same. Not all black is the same. Pentel's I feel like it's a really nice thick black, and depending on the brand of ink you're using will depend on how black your blacks are. But this is a really nice one, and I feel like it works very well with the microns. Pentel also makes a sign pen, and I'm not using it right now, but I started using it later in some of the later pages, and it's a really nice. I was able to get a nice medium line. I wasn't able to get as fine from as fine a point as the brush pen does, but I really was able to get a really nice medium transition. And the nice part about that is it didn't smudge. This whole project took a lot longer than maybe it should have, because I was really just trying not to smudge things. And when I did, I would have to, you have to bust out the whiteout. And while it scans okay, it's never, it never looks quite the same after you have to apply whiteout and go through the whole process. Yeah, this was a very interesting page. I didn't plan to actually have this page of the old man charging the Jiangshi. All of a sudden he just kind of charges him, shortly after Wu Shi is killed. And I had got to this point, and I realized I just realized this guy's savior has just been killed, and he's not doing anything. It says a lot about a character if all of a sudden, they just remain silent. He's not simply a damsel in distress here. He is, he's someone who will take action. He might be afraid. He might have a lot of, it might be, out of his depth, but he knows that this has all of a sudden become a real life or death struggle. He's going to try to do something, and it's whether fight or flight. You could have, also says a lot about the type of character he is, and the fact that he chooses to try to fight, even though he's clearly outmatched. Here I am putting together some backgrounds. I put a nice shadow underneath the characters. Look, I used to fight drop shadows a lot, and all this background work seems a lot of extra extra work, but it really pays off. I really feel like it really looks neat. It really looks nice. Now, there are lots of different styles of doing it. This is an older inking style. This is how it's was done in the past. I mean, it's probably was done better in the past than what I'm doing. In some of the a lot of the great artists. I think the late Bernie Wrightson, who recently passed, and very sad, and but yeah, he would have done a much better job. But it's still, at the same time, it's still a very similar vein of Bernie's, where it's a lot of line work, it's a lot of direction in the ink work, and that's one of the things you always need to remember, that I found you always need to remember, is that the direction which you do your hatching work matters. It matters a lot, whether it's you're trying to direct the eye, whether it's you're trying to create texture, and part of it is also throwing up different types of textures in order to kind of really make everything just seem like, just to make it interesting, to draw the eye all around the image, the page. That's really what you're doing, is you're trying to direct. It's like a flow. It's kind of like water. You have to figure out how all of the line work kind of eddies and flows around the drawing, and really kind of where you kind of want to push out, and where you want to kind of pull create pools of black and shots of light. It's a fascinating process, and a lot of this, I look at it now especially, and I'm currently I've switched over, and I am using a Cintiq to finish or to do a book 2, and it's a similar process, but it's also a different process. If I was using some black and white stuff, if I was using some more gradations and stuff like that, I had a second color like gray, I wouldn't have to use so much line work. It would just, I could just paint it would probably be about half the amount of work I'm doing here, at least. But you know, this was a project I really wanted to do this this traditional inking style, and I'm really proud of what I've done with it. That being said, I'm starting to look into ways to save some time here. It's a lot of work to kind of do all this. It looks like it's going really fast, but I assure you, this took a couple days for me to kind of do this. These days I have even less time than I had before. So, wrapping up, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Matthew Filer. Please check out more of my things and on my Patreon account. You can away at theundeadfist.com, and please sign up to become a patron to support more tutorials like this. Thank you so much.